Steve.
Well, first off, I think Christian Bale as Albert Nobbs was fantastic. That was the first thing I thought when I was
Just saw
what's Christian Bale doing in this movie?
She completely transformed.
Oh yeah, it was. It took
Mm-hmm.
Natasha was watching it with me, and it took a while. And she's like, "Wait, is that Glenn Close?" And that was about 15 minutes into the movie. So
if I had never seen her breast, I would have never.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, I don't know. You could tell.
Once you start seeing it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But overall, I enjoyed this movie, but I found it a little slow, a little. I don't know. It was basically the problem that I was worried about. Is I never really felt like I got past the this is an Oscar-nominated performance. She's trying for an Oscar-nominated performance. It's one of those situations where I never got past feeling like, wow, Glenn Close is doing a really good job as a man. You know? And so I never got lost in the character itself. Himself.
Really?
They-self. I don't know.
It's hard to define that.
He, she, itself.
Yeah.
I think that's what the movie's doing. Which is what was fascinating to me. I think this was better than I expected because I was just expecting that. Because it was interesting to me to try and comprehend what this character was going through.
Yeah.
I think it's an amazing performance.
Oh, the performance is incredible.
It's fantastic.
I think
rarely seen anything so good.
I think maybe the movie actually suffers a little bit from that because
it's so good.
It's so good and it stands out so much that it is. I always felt like the movie was about the performance more than the story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of detracted a little bit for me.
Well, in a way, the movie is about that character. So you have to like. Well, that performance overshadows everyone else, and like the overlying story of it. Even still, the movie's about that person, so it can't totally detract from the movie if that's the point of it.
But I mean, I never got past this like, this is an amazing performance, not this is a complex character. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Once you saw that Glenn Close or Albert, once you saw Albert wanted to get out of that hotel that she was in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then then I bought more into the storyline.
That's true.
And then you said, okay, you
see
know,
her
Albert's got
goals.
a purpose, right? A goal. She's looking at this tobacconist store that she wants to open up. Mm-hmm. And I agree. In the beginning, it was kind of cool and to see her play it so well. But at the same point, in the first 10, 15 minutes or so, you're watching her do an excellent job of fooling everybody and the viewer to be a man. I started to notice more, almost like a social problem, even as Albert.
Yeah.
Just interacting with people on a normal social level, and that kind of started to intrigue me a little bit.
You know, in some ways, I wish we hadn't have watched this in the Oscar category because that probably colored how I was looking at it, because
we look at it for that Oscar performance and to like judge that performance, because you're right. Because we talked, we want to talk a little bit about how like what makes this an Oscar performance, and for me, it's Oscar performances are ones that either they have to affect the viewer in some way, like really reach out to you, which is frequently why just some actor like cries a lot, like they'll get nominated. You know what I mean? Like if they can make you cry,
right,
that's an Oscar-worthy performance. If they can affect you, but also if they can do something challenging that really kind of pushes some kind of a boundary, that does something new, like when Cate Blanchett played Bob Dylan. You know what I mean? That's an Oscar-nominated performance.
Right.
Sometimes that fails.
Yeah.
When like John Wayne plays like Attila the Hun, that's not gonna work out. But
reaching too far.
Yeah. Or I mean, they have to kind of like take on a complete character.
Sometimes it's just a bad match. I mean, what I'm thinking of is Leonardo DiCaprio and
J. Edgar.
J. Edgar. He's an amazing actor. He did the best he could. And the more I thought about that movie, the more it's just he was the wrong actor for that part, I think. I think somebody else should have been chosen, and the movie may have been better. It just didn't quite. Something about it didn't quite fit. Right.
We've seen a lot of movies where people play opposite sex roles.
Yeah,
but it did a great job going beyond just this is a woman playing a man.
Well, because
really
she's
did.
not pretending to be a man. She's a woman playing a woman pretending to be a man.
Right.
yeah.
So she's still allowed to keep her femininity to some sense, but it's so restrained. The biggest thing this movie taught me is I couldn't stop thinking the time I was watching it. This is how J. Edgar should have been done.
Really? Because this movie was worse than J. Edgar for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It did
Go ahead.
everything for me that J. Edgar did wrong.
Yeah.
Plus some.
Exactly.
Plus some.
I agree.
Yeah.
And
It's the Iron Lady is a biopic about Margaret Thatcher's life. Margaret Thatcher being played by Meryl Streep. Yeah.
I mean, you go back and forth into time way too often, and then when you see her as an old woman, she's this insane, senile person who she doesn't have, a thought for herself, basically. You hear her husband speaking to her, and then that's what
I found so fascinating.
There's no emotional connection
and
to her as an old person.
Mhm.
I haven't built up this character in my mind, and then I'm seeing the end of that character's life. It's just sort of an end of a general character's of life, and then sort of these frenetic, frenetic flashbacks to all over the place. And at times it felt like a music video. The way it was just cut, it was edited awful.
I don't.
I can't.
I can't see I didn't see her make, aside from the Falkland Islands, I didn't see her really make one move as Prime Minister. It was all about her journey to becoming Prime Minister.
It is,
I feel like you needed at least 2 or 3 more things where she's making a critical decision as Prime Minister.
They have the scenes where she's choosing to make the massive budget cuts. She shuts down coal mines, which was extremely unpopular because they're not profitable.
But it's part of a montage of stuff. And
they're calling us the Iron Lady, though, because of, at least the way I took it, she was just unwilling to go with the popular thought.
Yeah.
She
did what she believed was right.
This is what I know is going to work. I don't care if it makes me popular, but I know it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And it was rough to kind of watch it. And I actually, about a quarter of the way through, I said, okay, I need to stop for a second. Pulled up just a short bio and read through that, and then continued to watch the movie. And I think it helped a little, for one.
You understand Margaret Thatcher,
right. But to go upon what you were saying, as far as just not feeling for her, it was rough watching the movie, play out, watching her deteriorate.
Because that's how I felt for her, yeah.
And then at the end, when she has one of the final scenes where she finally cleans out all his stuff.
It's essentially your moment of clarity.
Right.
Yeah.
That did a lot for me. Mm-hmm. It really did.
I completely disagree with you two on the idea that this was poorly edited or the time, bouncing back and forth between time. I thought this was brilliant in how it did that. I thought it balanced that perfectly. I loved the fact when she was older because and senile and out of it and part of it's because I knew the history of Margaret Thatcher, and that's not something that I realized, is that in her old age she was senile and lost it. And this is a woman who led Britain through some horribly tough times and made some really tough decisions. And so what I was seeing was the
effects of that.
The effects of that, and really the weight of tough decisions on a leader, and of bad and good decisions. Mm-hmm. She makes some awful decisions, and she makes some good decisions, and they don't pull away from that. They show you her as a complete character. That, and I think, it is just a freaking insane performance from Meryl Streep. I mean, when she's old, I'm just completely convinced this is...
Yeah.
She disappears in this character. I've rarely seen anything like this.
And I've read a few places that was just makeup. There's no CGI.
It looks,
But they had to, there's no way, her neck was...
It's crazy, isn't it?
There's no way that could be just makeup.
They could do that with makeup.
But he never looks quite right. I just can't. Right. It's insane.
I get the sense that Leonardo DiCaprio watches him and is like, fuck. It's just like, that's what I should have done.
Yeah.
song from